Is retirement dead as we know it? If you look at the statistics from Social Security, it shows you that they are out of money by 2033. To make it even worse, that used to be 2037, and it seems like it was just last year. Now it's 2033. Pension plans are drying up. One more economic recession or one more economic downfall, our pension plan is going to be around. I mean, right now as it is, it's hard, almost like finding a needle in a haystack to get a company that provides a pension. So what are we left with? 401ks, IRAs, and any qualified retirement plan that you and you alone put money into. Now maybe your company matches, maybe they don't, but what is going to be the future of retirement when Social Security's gone, pensions are gone, and the burden lies on you saving enough money? To make that even worse, when you look at Gen Z is adopting a soft savings plan. Do you know what that is? They're not saving money, they're enjoying their life. It's kind of like back in the 60s where savings wasn't really a thing. It was just go out, live life for the day. And hey, how can you disagree with that? But with all this going on, no more Social Security, no more pension plans, very little retirement savings, and a soft savings plan being adopted by the newest generation, what does the future look like from a financial standpoint? Put all that into a little box, and what you know to be true is the statistics saying that only 5 out of 100 people are going to be financially secure at the age of retirement. And that retirement age is 62. So where are you going to be? Do you even believe in retirement? Do you believe in giving up control of your money for 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Well, if you don't, you're gonna love this episode. My name's Chris Naugle, and this is What Now? What's next for your retirement? I know I talk about retirement all the time, and I don't particularly believe in the traditional retirement thought process. The financial people and the financial advisors and everybody else says you need to save for retirement, and I agree you do. But do you really need to give up control of your money? Do you need to put your money in a 401k, an IRA, or some qualified retirement plan where you can't use that money until 59 and a half, and if you do, they're gonna ding you 10% for an early withdrawal penalty? I'm just not buying into it. I love the fact that the new generation, the Gen Z generation, are soft savers. That means they're actually enjoying their life. But you know what? In today's video, I'm gonna show Gen Z how they can not only enjoy their life by not worrying about having a bunch of money in the bank, but how they can have their money working for them their entire life. Think about that. Gen Z, they're pretty young. And they got a lot of time until what we call retirement, 59 and a half or 62 or 67 or 70 or whatever they're calling retirement today. They got a lot of time. So just imagine a world, imagine a place where Gen Zers could save money and they could spend that money at the exact same time, but they never stop earning compound interest on the original money that they saved. They put their money in a machine that pays them guaranteed interest, and that guaranteed interest compounds whether or not the money's in the account or being used to buy cars, go on vacations, buy a new home, whatever it is they spend that money on. Well, I gotta roll this reel back because it's way too fast to go into that. So let's talk about some of the things going on out there. I mentioned them in the beginning. Social Security, if you haven't figured this out by now, it's running out of money. A matter of fact, back not so long ago, Social Security was said to run out of money by 2037. But that projection has now been moved up to 2033. I gotta ask, who the hell is putting their hands in the cookie jar? How do we go from 2037 to 2033 when, listen, we've been in the longest bull run in history. So if somebody's not pillaging the Social Security fund, where is all that money going? Because isn't that money supposed to just go into an account and then that money's supposed to grow based on some genius who's managing it, and then it pays out benefits to all the retirees? Well, there's a couple problems. Number one, there are more retirees than there are people contributing to Social Security. That's right. According to statistics, 1 out of 3 Americans have 0 income. Yes, and that's between ages 18 and 24. The Gen Zers, they're staying at home longer. They're not going out and rushing to get a job like I did. Man, I was working on a farm at the age of 14, and prior to that, I was going out cleaning windows. I was doing anything I could to make money to buy that dirt bike, that moped, whatever I wanted. I had to work. Well, today, the new generation doesn't have to go through what we did. These are changing times. These are different times. Your parents fund everything, right? Well, I don't think that's what we should be teaching our kids, because that is not going to end well. Because when the parents stop funding that lifestyle, what's going to happen? Well, these children, Gen Zers, are not going to have any work skills to go out there and live that life they have grown accustomed to. And knowing this to be fact, there will be no Social Security when they retire. So what does all this mean? Well, this means that we, when I say we, I mean parents, you, me, Jordan, everyone that has kids, we need to take some responsibility here. We literally are not preparing our children for the future. We are giving them 0 chance of success. So how do we change that? Well, I've got about 12 different ways we can change that, but I know you don't want to sit through a video waiting for me to give you 12 steps to success for your children. So let's just keep this really simple. First off, your children are going to do what they watched you do. Are you saving 10%? 10% is law number 1 when it comes to the laws of wealth. If you're not saving 10% of what you earn, and you're not telling your children that you are saving, you are preparing them to fail. I don't mean to be harsh, but sometimes the truth hurts. Because literally, think about it. I have a 3.5-year-old. She copies everything me and my wife do. Literally, we don't even teach her or show her what we're doing. She just watches and observes and copies it. So, my daughter knows that BYOB means be your own bank. And now all I need to do is start showing her, how do you be your own bank? What are the benefits of being your own bank? But I got to show her that by doing it myself. So law number 1, save 10% of what you earn. Law number 2, make that money, your savings, work for you. Now, how do you do that? It's simple. You all could invest money. You could put money in the stock market, but I would say hold off on that for just a little bit, because we are at the end of an economic cycle, so that might not be the best choice. But what else could you do with that money? Well, you could copy what the bank does, right? You could do as if you are the bank. You could just be the bank. What do banks do with your money that you leave on deposit? They lend that money out, don't they? A lot of times you put money in the bank as a deposit, and then you go right back to the bank and you take a loan to buy that new car. Hold on a second. Your kids see that. And your kids see you complaining when the bills are too high every single month, or when something happens to the income, or when that big sale that you were expecting just didn't happen. They see this, whether you want them to or not. And whether or not they're 3.5 or 18 or 25. So I want you to always remember that movie. I'm watching you. Because your kids are watching how you handle money. You see, financial education isn't going to be taught at schools. Don't think your kids are going to learn this in grade school or high school or even that middle school if your state has that. They're not going to learn about money. Matter of fact, they're going to be learning the complete opposite. They're going to be learning how to spend money, because all they're going to hear about is college, college, college. If you want to go further, you need college. But you know what's changing? That's changing too. So if you really look at kids today, now I'm not just saying Gen Zers, but also millennials. A lot of them did not follow the same path we were taught to. And what were we taught to do? If you get good grades, you can go on to college and you take out student loans, or maybe your parents help support that. Mine helped pay for a little bit. But the end result was you went to school, you incurred student debt, which you or somebody else paid, and nobody's coming to the rescue. But that was our path. And for us, it didn't work out for a lot of us. Now, some of us it did. I'm not saying or poo-pooing school, but you know what Gen Zers are? By the statistics, if you look at what Gen Z is doing, they are not going the traditional college path. You know what they're doing? They're saying, hey, wait a second. If I get into the trades, I can make more money than an attorney. I can make more money than a doctor. I can make more money than someone that had to go through 4 to 6 years of college, incur all this debt, and I'm gonna just go into the trades, no college needed, and I'm gonna make more money than my parents did? That's a reality. But you see, this isn't out of the norm either. It's all cyclical. So if you look around, what is the biggest need right now? Trades. Plumbers, electricians, carpenters. That's a massive need in today's economy. But who's filling a lot of those roles? Immigrants. I hate to say it. And I know you've seen in the news about this massive open door policy we have at our borders. Lots of illegals coming into this country, being given credit cards, being given places to stay. Well, I'm not saying this is right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not taking a stance on this, but do you ever think it's because Americans don't want to work? Let me repeat. Gen Zers, by the numbers, 18 to 24, 1 out of 3 of them have no income, which means they're not filling these spaces. They're not filling these much needed labor roles, trades. So somebody's got to fill them. But that also creates a massive opportunity. Because if Gen Zers are really living their lives just wanting to spend the money to live for today and not worry about saving money 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the future to this thing called retirement, the trades make a lot of sense. They can just come right out of high school, go right into the trades, make 70 to 100 grand if they put their mind to it. That's pretty good money, especially at that age. I can't even fathom what that would have been like when I was that age, making a 70 to 100 grand. I didn't know anybody making that much. That to me would have been somebody being rich. But today, that opportunity is here for every single American that wants it. But are they going after it? Doesn't look like it. So we got to teach our kids better. Now, I don't care whether your kids go off to be the next surgeon, they go off to be the next world-renowned attorney, they go off to be a race car driver, they go off to be a professional athlete. It doesn't matter what they're going to go off to do. It all starts at home in what we teach our kids. Now, 10% is the rule for savings, and they're going to learn that from you. Then, having their money work for them. They're going to learn that from you on how you handle the savings. Do you just leave it in the bank account earning next to nothing? Or do you have a way to make that money go to work for you? Are you lending it out and becoming the bank? Are you doing the things you need to do to make your money work for you? The other thing, you need to protect your wealth. You need to make sure that your wealth is protected. And how do you do that? Well, the best way is to invest in things that you know, like, and understand. The best other way to protect your wealth is to not be in debt. That's protecting your wealth. I'll tell you right now, the biggest way to show your kids how to fail is live a life of debt. Live a life where your kids watch you every single month struggle to make the car payments, the credit card payments, the college and student loan payments, and all the bills that you have occurred in your lifetime because you just had to have it. You had to have the boat. You had to have the new car. You had to have the bigger house. Listen, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But if your kids see you living and stressed out because of debt, what are they going to do? Copy. They're going to do the same thing. Why? Because they don't know any other way. But you see, if you right here and right now start to become your own bank and you take back control of the money that you're giving away. We always say the fastest way to build wealth is through your own debts and expenses. Are you doing that? Because how much money do you give away every single month? Those car payments, $500, $600, $700 a month, gone. And do you get any of that money back? Nope. It all just goes to the bank. And then what do you have? A depreciating car in the driveway that will need to be replaced when the brakes and the tires and everything starts going wrong on it. So then what are you going to do? Go out and lease or finance another car. But what if you just made a stance right now and you made it an announcement to your family? From here on out, we are no longer going to give our money away to traditional banks because we are going to be the bank. So from here on now, we're going to save money. That money that we save is going to be used to buy the next car. That money that we save is going to be used to pay down the credit cards. But you see, when we pay a credit card down, we're not going to stop making that credit card payment. We're going to take the credit card payment we used to give Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and we're going to pay it back to ourselves, right back to the account where that money came from. Therefore, we take back control of the money, and therefore we recycle and recapture the interest we gave away. How much is the interest on your credit cards? Is it 10, 15, 20, 24? It could even be as high as 29%. Are you literally giving away almost 30% in interest on your credit card balances? What would you do to make 30% on your retirement savings? 30% on the money sitting in your bank? Wouldn't that be awesome if you could earn 30% on the money that you saved? Oh yeah, that would be too good to be true. But would it really be too good to be true? Wouldn't it just be as simple as paying off that Visa and taking the payment you make to Visa and putting it back in the account that you use to pay it off? Draw a circle, folks. All you're doing is your money is starting over here, your savings, your 10%. That's over here on the left side. We're going to take the money from that bucket and we're going to move it over here. We're going to pay off all the debts, starting with the lowest balance first, which is usually a small credit card. And once you pay the credit card off, what we're going to do is we're going to continue around the bottom part of that circle, and we're going to take the payment you were given that debt, and we're going to put it back into the same account. Even if that account is a bank account paying you 0% interest, it doesn't matter because you just recaptured the interest you gave to the credit card. You just recaptured the interest you gave to the car loans. You just recaptured all of the interest that you used to pay on your debts. Now, the worst part about this is it takes time. But that's the best part about it too, is it takes time. Because during the time you're doing this, you could show your children what you're doing. And as you do this, you could show your children the compounding effects of how your money is growing, and you didn't have to work any harder because your kids don't want to work harder. You didn't have to work any longer. By the stats, your kids don't work longer, and you didn't have to take on any additional risk. All you had to do is follow the process. And that process I just taught you is the process of you becoming the bank by applying the infinite banking concepts. A process that allows you and your kids to take back control of their money, and it allows you to take back the banking functions in your life. That wasn't very hard, was it? So how come you're not doing it? Why aren't you teaching your kids this? Why aren't you teaching your toddlers, your little children, these things? It's very simple. Show them with a piggy bank. Show them saving 10% and show them what 10% is. Just do it easily. Take a fake dollar bill and say 10% of this dollar bill is this, and hold up a dime and put the dime in the piggy bank. That's all it is, folks. How difficult is that to teach your kids? Well, I'll tell you, it's not difficult at all. I'm doing it with my 3.5-year-old. And then when that piggy bank builds up, grab a Matchbox car. My daughter loves the movie Cars, and she calls Lightning McQueen Happy Car. I love it. So what I do is I say, Vivi, if you wanted to have your own happy car, and I let her go out in the garage and sit in the Porsche, and I say, this is my happy car. If you wanted your happy car, all you need to do is save enough money in that piggy bank, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the money out of the piggy bank, and you're gonna exchange that money to buy your own happy car. She has up in her little fake kitchen, she's got on the inside a red Porsche Targa. It's a brand new red one. And every time I say, that's your happy car. That's right, I'm sinking and planting that idea in her mind. It doesn't have to be a Porsche, it could be a Corvette. It doesn't have to be a Corvette, it could be a Chevy pickup truck. Just make it whatever your kids want it to be. For my daughter, it's a red Porsche Targa. That's all. So I show her how to have that is just keep saving the money in the piggy bank. Take the money out of the piggy bank, buy the happy car, but don't cheat your bank. Remember, take the amount you would have given away, and eventually I'll show her how to do that and put it back in the piggy bank. And then you get all the money back for all the happy cars you ever buy, drive, and own. You see, the one thing that will sink your family It will sink your family in retirement. It will sink your family in a failed economy. It will sink your family when the economy takes a fall. You know what that is? Put it right now in the comments if you know what that is. I'll give you the answer. Debt. Every single time, debt will take your family down. Do you realize the #1 cause of divorce in this country is finances? Oh, and I probably could go on and say debt. Finances are debt. Because if your family is living in debt, your financial future is bleak. But if your family becomes their own bank and you teach your kids by showing them how you're doing it, your financial future becomes really good because you're not leaking anymore. Your boat doesn't have holes in it anymore because all the debt payments you make go back to your bank. Doesn't that sound better? Isn't that better than what they're teaching your kids in school? Isn't that better than what they're learning in college? You see, all of that started by making a good example with yourself, with you doing this, and showing your kids how you're doing this, and showing your kids while you're doing this how you're taking back the money you were giving away, how you're building wealth through your own debts and expenses, how you are now able to buy more things. You're able to do more things. And it didn't require you being away from your family because you had to work more. It didn't require any overtime because it was your money working for you. And the risks that came along with that was just the time it took for you to learn. When are you going to realize that getting ahead in this world, getting ahead financially, isn't taking risk? It's about following a process. It's about teaching your kids that you live your life following a budget. It teaches your kids that then when they're of age, they will create a budget for themselves. They will save money in their bank, not their piggy bank anymore, but their bank. They will become their own bank because the things that they buy, they will buy with their own savings. And they will never rob from their bank. They will never steal from their bank because they will have watched you, the parents, when you bought a new car, you made payments for that new car, but the payments went back to you. These are the things we need to teach our children. These are the things Gen Z needs to learn. Because if they don't want to go out and work, 18 to 24, only 1 out of 3 of them are. Let's teach them how to get all the things they want in life without having to work harder or longer. Because now you're speaking their language by the statistics. Let's also teach our children that Social Security and the government isn't there for them. They're not going to bail them out. They're not going to pay for their retirement. They're not going to pay for that car, that dream house, and all the things they want to buy. Oh, no, no, no. That's on them. Actually, that's on you. Wake up. And while you're waking up, let's do a little experiment. I want you to click the subscribe button right there. Cash! That's my cat's name. Cash! Oh, there you are, buddy. What's going on? Come here. Say hi to everybody. Come here. Oh, say hi. Everybody, this is Lazy Cash, and he also wants you to click that subscribe button. But while you're at it, Cash, what else should they do? Should they hit the little bell? Smash the bell so that you're notified the next time we put new content out. And the new content might even be Lazy Cash Show. Anyway, let's get back into it. Now, when you start doing this and you start being your own bank, one of the things, and I know because it happened to me, that's going to happen to you is once you pay off those credit cards and you no longer need to pay Visa, Amex, Discover, or the car payment, you're going to be like, oh, that's a bunch of extra money. What can we use that extra money for? You're going to be tempted to take that extra money and go out there and spend it for enjoyment, but don't do that. Remember the circle. The money must flow around the circle. It starts on the left, moves over to the right, and then comes back to the left. Compound interest is key. If you are not tapping into uninterrupted compounding interest, you are missing out. So do not fall victim to that. Because if you do, you're going to miss out on a lot of money that will build up over time. But let me move on to the final part of today's video, enablement. You know, the government tries to enable you by putting the carrot on the stick. They try to tell you, oh, if you do this, you get that. If you work 30 years, you get Social Security. And do you all know how much Social Security is? The average Social Security payment in this country is just a couple dollars more than $1,700 a month. I don't even think you can pay for groceries with $1,700 a month. But hey, to each their own. If that's what you're gonna work 30 years of your life for that benefit that the government won't give you anymore, because remember I said it's gonna end, and even when it ends, it's not gonna totally end. What you can expect at that point is about 25% of that $1,700. Yeah, that's the numbers. In 2033, when Social Security goes broke, and all the new people contributing to Social Security through their W-2 wages, what is that going to afford for future Social Security retirees? About 23 to 25% of that. So can you afford to live on 25% of the current Social Security monthly payment? No. So I think now is the time. I think right here and right now is when you need to wake up. You need to learn how to be the bank. And how you become the bank is simple. Just watch the video I'll put up at the end of this. But to make it even easier, you can just click the little link in the bio and watch a 90-minute video or a 10-part video series, and then book a call with us and we'll show you how to be the bank. We'll show you how to set up the machine that will pay you uninterrupted compounding interest on your money that you save for the rest of your life, whether you have it in there or whether that money's out working for you a second time, because it is the only way for you to make money twice on the same dollar. You get to save and spend at the same time. Gen Z, eat your heart out. Save and spend. Let me preface the spend. But parents, let's bring it back to you. If you enable your children, and enabling them seems like the best thing to do, you just give them things. Oh, it's so nice to buy them a car. It's so nice to pay their car insurance. It's so nice to pay their credit cards because they can't, because they're not working. You are enabling them. You are doing the exact same thing to your children that the government did to you, and it fails 100% of the time. So do not enable your children. Matter of fact, enable your children to learn how to create a budget. Enable your children to learn how to be the bank. Enable your children to learn how to save 10% and not be in debt. The only debt your children should have is the debt that their own bank financed, because then every payment for their bank goes back to them. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of What Now, What's Next, because your retirement and your financial future relies on it. We'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you like this video, check this video out right here, the Money Multiplier Method. That is the video teaching you how to be the bank. See you next time.